The Royal Rumble is literally 1 week away, and WWE have given us a graphic of all the participants who will be entering both the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. Now, I'm sure other names will be added to this that are currently on the WWE roster, but to me, that does not look like 30 people, and I think it's because we're going to be hoping for some surprise returns, some debuts, and it could be very, very fun. Of course, we've seen some great returns, some great debuts at the Royal Rumble. So, the big question is, who could be joining these elite WWE superstars in the 2021 Royal Rumble? Victoria. Now, there isn't a lot of hype to say that Victoria could be making a return for the Royal Rumble. A lot of these superstars that I've listed do have hype. But last year, they actually showed a video of her entrance before the Royal Rumble. This was at the venue Royal Rumble 2020 was held, and a lot of fans were ecstatic. They also showed MVPs, and he did show up. But you gotta wonder why they played Victoria's. Victoria hasn't worked for WWE for years. And you have to wonder if WWE done it knowing fans could see that screen, hoping fans would get the picture and seeing what the buzz was, because believe me, there was a lot of buzz about Victoria, so maybe they're planning to bring her back this year. John Cena. Of course, there's so much hype right now for John Cena. After this WrestleMania promo video thing that WWE did, where they revealed the next 3 WrestleManias, dates and locations, it's interesting because you got to think for this, he's going to be part of WrestleMania going forward. We know that John Cena has had massive moments at the Royal Rumble before. We haven't seen him since last year's WrestleMania, but there's a lot of speculation that broke yesterday that WrestleMania 37 is looking to lock in people like Cena and Goldberg, and Cena is nearly locked in to compete on the grandest stage of them all. Maybe to get there, he starts at the Royal Rumble. It would be cool. It would be a fun way for WWE to bring him back. Again, we haven't seen him now for so long. I think a big return at the Rumble could be absolutely brilliant for Cena. Let's do it. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Again, we haven't seen Bray now for about a month since TLC, and people are on the edge of their seats anticipating that he could return at the Rumble. Alton said the reason that he got burnt by Alexa Bliss was because Bray Wyatt wanted to basically rob him of his opportunity to win the Royal Rumble match. Could therefore the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, or whatever new face of the Fiend, return at the Royal Rumble and basically cost Randy Orton that Royal Rumble victory he craves? Edge, of course, last year, who will ever forget 2020's Royal Rumble when Edge finally made his return to the WWE. It was one of those surreal moments we thought we'd never see. He has been out with an injury and we haven't seen him. We expected him back a while ago, and I think maybe WWE kept him off of TV, maybe tried to recreate that moment again this year with the Rated R Superstar. I'd love it. I'd love to see Edge back again. And you have to believe if Edge is around that his wife Beth Phoenix will be as well. Of course, Beth has entered other WWE Royal Rumbles, or Women's Royal Rumbles in recent years, so we know that she's around. She obviously works as a commentator for their NXT. Let's do it. Edge and Beth, both Rumbles. CM Punk. Okay, I'm ashamed of myself for doing this, but genuinely there is a lot of hype on the internet for this. As much as even I don't believe it, there is hype because CM Punk posted a few days ago on Twitter that he was starting to quarantine. Now, obviously this doesn't mean anything, and I don't think CM Punk's coming back, but the hype is real, and people are saying, is he quarantining because of an appearance at the Royal Rumble? You think if he is, AJ Lee might be as well. Of course, his wife would make a lot of sense. She has teased a wrestling return a lot. It's never come to fruition, but maybe. You gotta always hold out hope, right? Carlito. Now, of course, I don't think he's going to be spitting in many people's faces, but he was set to appear on Raw's Legends Night earlier on this month. It didn't happen. He didn't show up. Varied reasons that he's openly expressed, but the hype for his return was there. WWE would have seen that hype. And you have to believe Carlito can still wrestle. He still does actively wrestle. Could WWE bring him back for one more night at the Royal Rumble? Please do. Praise the Messiah! Seth Rollins. Of course, we haven't seen Seth Rollins since Survivor Series when he sacrificed himself for the greater good. Of course, he basically cost Team SmackDown his spot in the match, and you gotta believe he's due back. Becky's now had the baby. Everyone's doing great. Seth was rumoured to come back at the start of the month. Again, it never happened. Maybe they held off for the Rumble. You wonder as well, is Becky Lynch possibly entering? I think it might still be a tad early, but it's Becky Lynch. I don't think Becky Lynch is going to say no. If she can actively go and she is medically cleared and all that stuff, I'm 100% sure she'll be there. Because, you know, Becky, she's the man. Ronda Rousey. Now, here's another one with no hype to it, but she has been active for WWE recently, taking part in the Superstar Gaming series on the WWE Network. And you've got to wonder, if she's doing this, could they bring her back even if it is just for a one-time appearance? I think the Rumble would make the most sense to do it. If they do, win or lose, I think people would love to see Ronda Rousey back in a WWE ring. She's a ratings draw. Sonya Deville. Now, here's one I really don't think people have considered. We know Sonya Deville is back on SmackDown. She is seemingly part of management. So if she has the power and she's got the sway and the influence to make things happen, could she not make her in-ring return happen as part of the Royal Rumble itself? We heard her on SmackDown a few weeks ago memorizing about Mandy Rose. Could be a fun moment to have Sonya come in to eliminate Mandy. That could be quite fun. I'd be up for that. I think it'd be cool to see her back in a wrestling ring. And it would be a cool way to do it where it's not permanent. She can go back to that managerial role back on SmackDown. Kane! Of course, Kane gets mentioned this time of year all the time. He is the man when it comes to Royal Rumble. I believe he holds the most eliminations per person throughout Royal Rumble history. They give us the stats every year. I think it'd be cool for Kane to come back and add a few more to that list. Taya Valkyrie, of course, former Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion. Believe she was the longest reigning Knockouts champion as well, which is quite cool. Obviously, we know John Morrison is in WWE, so there's a tie right there. But when she recently left Impact, it was because she was arrested for shooting Johnny Bravo. And we heard Tommy Dreamer say, "You're off to Stanford Penitentiary for 2 years. If you're unlucky, 3. That's a rib to WWE. Is she bound for the Royal Rumble?" Jay White, of course, this has been breaking the internet now for a few weeks. He sort of done his whole thing at Wrestle Kingdom and just after it as well. And we now wonder where he is going, if he's going anywhere. Is it WWE? Is it AEW? Well, the perfect opportunity to bring him to the main roster presents itself on Royal Rumble Sunday. We see a lot over the years of NXT talent being called up, being used for one night only in the Rumble. And I don't think this year will be much different. I think maybe the hype of Karrion Kross right now, I think that definitely warrants a Royal Rumble entry. It would be fun. It also explains maybe why he's not challenging for the NXT title on the takeover for Valentine's Day. I'd love to see Karrion Kross mix things up. You know, he's such a good athlete. Do it. Of course, it might act as a platform to call up Damian Priest, someone that's been rumoured now for multiple weeks to be going to SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley as well. There's been a lot of talk that she could be being called up to the main roster. Again, the Royal Rumble could do that. Walter, the NXT UK heavyweight champion, that would be amazing. I think he's just had that amazing match with A-Kid, and it happened early for a reason. Maybe with the rest of Imperium currently in NXT, maybe Walter is in the United States and he can enter the Royal Rumble match. 3, 2, 1. Brock Lesnar. Of course, he is probably the best person right now to be mixing it up with Roman Reigns. The story's there just by association of Paul Heyman. Whether you have Brock as a good guy, Roman as a bad guy, or have two bad guys fighting it out, why the hell not? I'd love to see it. And after last year's performance when Brock dominated the Rumble, you gotta think it would be the perfect time to bring him back. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania last year, I think it was. But as long as travel restrictions allow, bring him back. So there you go. They are the superstars I think could be at the Royal Rumble. I don't think all of them will be, but it's definitely interesting nonetheless. Let me know who you want to return at the Royal Rumble in the comment section down below. I am so hyped. Royal Rumble is genuinely my favourite pay-per-view of the year, just because of the unpredictability of who's going to be there, who's going to win. It's so freaking good. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you as always next time. Peace!